Hello. Everyone hear me? Everyone see me? I'm here. Brandon's hanging out.
Don't mind me.
Yeah, he's streaming after me, so he's just getting ready already. I got buzzes, so I saw the chat earlier, and now I'm not seeing anyone on chat. There we go. Felipe's in. Sweet. Basically, I watched my Just Played the other day to approve it, and I'm like, I didn't say hardly anything in this compared to everything that I played. So I was like, I should talk more about this, but what's the best way to do that? And I just figured we might as well just stream it, and you guys can ask me whatever you want. How's everyone doing tonight? Yeah. So I was at an event in San Francisco last week with Andrew, Renee, and some other journalists. They've been doing these like all over the place. They did one in Warsaw. I know they did one in Sydney. I think they did like 5 altogether, like just the first time anyone's really been able to play the game outside of the CD Projekt Red. I am never wearing that shirt again. I said that on camera, so that's not making a reappearance today. But I am wearing a Witcher 3 shirt. But yeah, so we got 3 hours with the game, starting right from the beginning, and then after a while they came around and kind of harassed us and was like, hey, do you want to move on to a later part now? Hey, do you want to move on to a later part now? So eventually I conceded. Although part of me kind of just wishes I just kept doing stuff in the beginning, but whatever. Let me see. Any cool comments yet? How is the frame rate? So yeah, let's get some of the bad stuff out of the way. It is probably performance is probably my main concern right now. I think that the game is done, except they're spending the last 4 months to polish this up, and we'll hopefully see some improvements. There are definitely times when we're running through a rainstorm. It's really cool because you've got all the trees and stuff swaying in the wind, but it's running at like 20 frames per second or less, so that's a little bit of a bummer. I also saw like a couple of bugs here and there, but it was the kind of thing where it was like I was talking to a guy afterwards about the bug. He's like, "Oh, I think that's my fault." It's like it's the funniest thing in the world. And he was also saying like one of the other bugs that he saw while I was playing, that he'd already emailed the team to get it fixed and that kind of thing. So they're saying the video is a bit too loud. If you can turn that a little bit down.
No problem.
I honestly don't know what build that is from. I played it on the Xbox One. I mistakenly thought that the Xbox One was the only thing that was there when I walked in, but they did have PS4 and PC builds there too. And then let's see, what else? Oh, so we're getting the bad stuff out of the way first. Another thing I thought was a little weird was the horse travel. They have it set up so that you can just hold the button and the horse will automatically go down the paths, but there's so many intersecting paths that sometimes that kind of felt like you had to fight the horse a little bit. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I think this might be something I need to adjust to. One thing that was interesting with the horse, though, he was saying, and it threw me off at first, because I had basically gotten off the horse. I went in the house to talk to the guy, and I came out, my horse is gone. And I'm like, where's my horse? But what he said is that your horse isn't just going to stand there like a parked car. It's going to look for food or shelter or water, and it's going to sense that stuff out and go to whatever the nearest place is. So you kind of have these horse parking zones where it will auto park itself.
We should take a moment to explain that Brandon is not playing Witcher 3.
Brandon is definitely not playing Witcher 3.
I wish, man. If I could pick between the game I'm playing now and Witcher 3,
right,
I'd pick Witcher 3.
This horse ran into trees. I didn't test it. I should have.
Because horses don't do that. I don't know if you know that, Blood.
Yeah. I made fun of that in the Zelda script on Friday. Well, what else? So yeah, so where the game starts, they do have a tutorial. The tutorial's pretty interesting. I actually really like the way they did it because they sort of give you a flashback. They take you back earlier into the timeline. So if you've read some of the books, I mean, I think even just the second book, you're kind of reliving some of those moments, and Yennefer's there, and Ciri is there training at Kaer Morhen. and you kind of get that chance to meet everybody. So if you've read the books and you know these characters, then it's this like kind of cool moment to connect with them and see how they've been imagined. And if you don't, you at least know who they are, and you're like, why am I running around chasing after these women? I don't get it. So you get an idea of like why they're important to Geralt. And then once you kind of get into the modern age, it starts with the Griffin that we saw last E3, just munching on some dude's horse, and Geralt and Vesemir scare it off, and you have this option, and this has happened a couple of times in what I played. You have the option of whether or not to charge money, because it's like you're a witcher, you're a monster slayer, like you're the whole purpose you have, the whole way you make a living is to take contracts and kill monsters. But it's like, well, this guy would have died if he didn't come along. So it's like you can either ask him for money when he just lost his horse to transport his caravan, or you can say it's okay, you're in an emergency, and let him off, and then you actually run into him later when he's opened a shop in town. And then that's one of the things I really I love about their philosophy is that when you make these small decisions, then later on down the road, they do have an impact one way or the other. And then we went to so this is a scene here right now that he's getting his horse munched on. They don't go far enough to let you see the decision though in this clip. They just kind of show the cutscene. Will it be easy for newcomers to jump into? Yeah, I think it will be. I should probably explain the combat system. So if you played Witcher 2, I think the fundamentals are all going to be very familiar. It's just everything feels more responsive and more refined. You have block on the left trigger, and then I think I forget how it works, but there's like a timing to it, to where if you're holding it, you block, but if you like tap it, then you parry, and you like push a guy back. You use the left bumper on the controller, or L1 on a PlayStation controller, to pull up your quick menu, so you kind of put it into a pause, and then you can change your signs and your ranged weapons. And you have the same five signs as before. Ard, which is like a force push. Igni, which is like a fire spell. Erden, which is a trap spell that you lay down. Axii, which is like a little mind control thing, or stun, and then I forget what the other one is, but I'll probably remember it. Somebody else will probably throw it in there. And so you throw your signs with the right trigger, and then the right bumper is to throw bombs or throw or use your crossbow if you have a crossbow. And I definitely felt some difficulty in there. I did a side mission where you had to track down. Well, actually, doing the side missions is interesting because you don't always know what you're hunting. So part of the mission is identifying what the problem is. And so what it was is there's this guy, his daughter was sick, and because of the war, there's like blood in the river, and he needed pure water, but the well is haunted. So you kind of ask him some questions to kind of try to figure out what could be haunting the well. And then you get up to the location, and it kind of goes into this detective mode, like something out of was it Arkham City, or which Arkham game did a detective mode?
That was
All
Asylum,
of
the
them.
first one.
Yeah. I feel like one of them did more of it though, later on. But anyway, so you can kind of put on this, use this Witcher sense, and you can see treasure chests and things like that. But you can also, get a look at clues, and eventually you figure out that it's a noon wraith, which is a specific type of wraith that is only out in like the heat of the day. And then you start looking to figure out, okay, what happened here? Why is the noon wraith haunting the well? You see this. You find a diary in this house. You find a crime scene where this woman was drug out, and then you find this skeleton hanging in the well, and you pull the skeleton up, but one of the arms is missing, and you need like some kind of memento that's probably binding the spirit to the world. So you dive into the well, You look underwater, you find this bracelet, and then you swim out through these tunnels and come up on the backside of the hill, burn the body, and then the Noon Wraith appears, and you have this fight. And so the thing is, when you find a Noon Wraith, or when you figure out the Noon Wraith is what it is, then that unlocks the bestiary, Geralt's bestiary, and then you can read up on the Noon Wraith, and that's how you learn how to fight it. It will show, its habits, its patterns. I think in some of the later monster hunts, you're gonna have to be more in depth of like going to the place at the right time of day. Well, yeah, with the Noon Wraith, apparently, if you were there at night, it obviously wouldn't show up. And weaknesses. And so the one thing is, I noticed it's weak against the trap sign Erden. And then some of the other stuff was about oils and potions, and I just started the game, so I hadn't gathered or done any alchemy yet. So I'm like, but I'll go ahead. It can't be that bad, right? I got worked. I died quite a few times. But what I figured out is so if you just try to attack the Noon Wraith, just touching it at all would actually damage you. And the only way that I could do any damage to the Wraith itself was to put the trap sign down and then lure the Wraith into the trap sign. And then when it was within that space, then I could damage it. But if I didn't kill it, then it would vanish and would spawn like 3 like Wraith minions. And then when you kill the minions, it comes back and it has full health again. So it was pretty tricky for me to kind of work out all of its patterns and manage to kill it. And then when the developers told me, it's like, yeah, if you had made that oil, then it wouldn't be able to regenerate between phases. I'm like, thanks. Thanks for letting me know now.
A couple of questions about save states, about importing save states.
Oh, so I'm pretty sure your saves are going to carry over. They did from Witcher 1 to Witcher 2. But I don't know for a fact like how that's going to work, and I'm guessing that they might do something like Dragon Age did for people that haven't played the game yet. But it's all conjecture. I'm pretty sure though in the past they've said decisions that you've made in the past couple of games will carry over. Because I would think especially some of the stuff that you did with Yorvith and the Scoia'tael and 2 is going to have to play a part somehow. I mean, that's determining the fate of whether a nation exists or not. So, and especially how they changed the ending of 2 later on when they did an enhanced edition to show you more of the consequences that happened in Flotsam, I think it was the town. I would think that they wouldn't just ignore all of that. Was there another question that you saw?
Yeah, everyone wants to know what Brandon is playing.
Brandon's playing Dying Light. That's going to be up right after I'm done yabbering on.
Might explain his expression. People want a comparison of this to Dragon Age.
Okay, so I'm unfortunately the wrong person to ask about it because I haven't got to play Dragon Age yet, which I probably should do. I should probably say some Dragon Age before May gets here, so that I will have some kind of proper comparison. One thing I will say that's really, really kind of cool about the side quest, and I've been railing on side quests about this in open world games for a little while, from Assassin's Creed to Infamous or whatever, is the side quests are like mini stories. So like this whole thing, it's not just, hey, there's a Noon Wraith over here, go kill it and I'll give you some money. It's like, no, this guy's daughter is sick, and when you get back, you find out that the money was his daughter's dowry, and it's really like it's like 50 coins, and you just like pulled 1,000 out of a treasure chest somewhere. It's like you know what, you keep your money, it's okay. And he thanks you for it, and he gives you some extra info and amethyst as well. But he refers to like the alchemist in the town by name, and then you find out other people talk about her as well, and you meet her, and then she has another side quest. And so there's just this really interesting sense that you're not just doing things for random NPCs. It's like all of this stuff that you're doing is somewhat interconnected, and connects back and forth onto the main quest.
Here's a good question.
Yeah.